think, what if you were not able to go on with your undergraduate degree? What would you be deprived of? What dreams would you lose out on? What talents would go undeveloped? I know many of you will go on to become community leaders, doctors, lawyers, journalists, teachers, whatever. All of that would have been lost if you had been deprived of that. And that's what's happening in Iran. And that's what Education Under Fire is all about. I'm going to skip over some of my remarks and just get to some of the nitty-gritty. According to a recent 2012 publication by the Sentinel Project for Genocide Prevention, the situation in Iran goes beyond merely the abuse of human rights. It parallels what was going on, the pre-genocidal conditions that were happening in the early stages of Nazi Germany and Rwanda, Africa. This is not just, you can't go to school. These people, the leaders, are being put in jail, they're being executed. 200 of the leaders have been executed since 1979. People are denied the access to higher education. People are labeled, they're set up as scapegoats. These are the conditions that lead to genocide. This is the preconditions, and if we don't do something, it could happen like it happened in the past. Now, I'm saying all this, you know, the Baha'is, I don't want you to go away thinking that the Baha'is are victims. This isn't a story about victimhood. This is a story of hope and resilience. This is a story about creativity. And so we're talking about noble survivors. And so we can all understand that. I mean, Debbie and Dr. Johnson all alluded to, these are not just one story. This is a universal narrative. There's oppressed people everywhere. And so, but tonight the spotlight is on the Baha'is. So I would ask that we all stand up right now and take a stand for the Baha'is in Iran and the other Baha'i and the other minorities. So everybody just stand up. So tonight we stand shoulder to shoulder. We stand together as Christians, as Jews, as Muslims, as Baha'is. We stand united, we stand in solidarity, we stand in support of our fellow Baha'is and the minorities that have been persecuted in Iran. So I want you to keep that in mind, and if you haven't signed the petition already, I would encourage you to do that. So thank you very much.
The Baha'i faith just seems so friendly. I don't understand how it's like offensive.
I could start off by saying, well, there's a couple of reasons why. The Baha'i faith, the teachings of the Baha'i faith, they're very supportive of an open society. They're very supportive of freedom of thought and equality. And in a government that's a dictatorship, they want a closed society. They're not open to freedom of thought. They're not open to equality. The power, subsides in a privileged few. So the teachings of the Baha'i faith, the oneness of humanity, the harmony of religions, the harmony of all religions, the equality of men and women, universal education, independent investigation of truth. All these teachings support an open society and freedom of thought and equality, and that's threatening to a dictatorship.
The way they interpret that to mean is that the Baha'i faith has to be heretical, has to be false because apostasy. Thank you, because it is a claim to have another revelation from God after the time of Muhammad, and I think that is their official fundamental reason for why they say Baha'i faith cannot be accepted. Of course, there are a lot of Muslims who may believe that, but their argument is that, well, yeah, maybe we don't believe in the Baha'i faith. This is not my personal religion, but I don't think we should be doing all these things to these people just because they claim that God has another revelation after the Quran. So this is what you do with that information. Do you think that that should be a reason to do these terrible things to these people? Or if you agree with that fundamentalist interpretation, you might say, well, I think that's right. I don't think God said another, but that doesn't mean we should be doing these things to these people. So that also ties into what Dr. Rea said. It becomes a matter of holding on to power.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Great.